Yes, folks, it's Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. That's me, by the way. I'm very indebted today to Michael Fair, the mechanic, who helped me with my E-Type Jag a few years ago. Kept it running. I went all over the UK in that. Anyway, thank you for that, Michael, and for pointing me in the direction of this story that I'm going to give you today. In Tales from the Jails, I'm going to talk about deaths in HM prisons, and specifically in one particular prison, which is HMP FOSSE Way, F-O-S-S-E, FOSSE Way, which is down in Leicestershire, I believe. It was pointed out by a guy called Alex Belfield. I'm sure you're all aware of Alex Belfield, and I will put a link down below to Alex Belfield's very entertaining YouTube channel, which I highly recommend you have a look at. He's an interesting, affable, intelligent man who's done about 5 years in jail, I believe, written 6 books. Yeah, he's not doing bad. 6 books. I've only written 19. Oh, 18, sorry. I'm on my 19th now. Anyway, so... And Alex Belfield's talking about 401 deaths in HM prisons in the last 12 months to June of 2025. 401 prisons, of which 7 of these... 7 murders in HMPs, in the prisons. 86 suicides in the last 12 months. And at HMP FOSSE Way last week, there were, according to Alex Belfield, and you can see it down below, there's a link down below, there were 4 prison officers dismissed from the service and charged with corruption. What's going on? According to information, HMP FOSSE Way is the absolute epitome of the jail you're going to go to if you want to get off your skull. You know what I mean? Out your brain. Where are you going to go? No, you're not going to Piccadilly in Manchester. Yeah, you're not going to the amusement arcades in London. No, folks, you're going to HMP FOSSE Way. Because the drugs there are affordable. Yeah, apparently. So, number of prison officers arrested just in a week. I mean, it's just disgraceful. I mean, in the 70s, when I was in the jails, 70s and early 80s, it was virtually unheard of. Really unheard of. It was very rare. When I was at the Scrubs, there was only one officer who was ousted for corruption, and I'd warned him, by the way. He was a former warrant officer, grade 1, a WO1, that's a regimental sergeant major in the Air Force, and he was about 45 years of age, I believe, and he came out of the Air Force into Wormwood Scrubs. This guy was going to fart miracles, believe me. He was being fast-tracked for promotion. And the first week he came to the Scrubs, he was allocated to go around with me, and I would show him the works, which I did. And I said to him, don't believe that these people are like soldiers, These are very dangerous inmates who, if you give them the chance, will manipulate you. They'll tell you what a wonderful guy you are, and how you're in the wrong job, and how you should have been something magnificent, and next thing you know, you're actually in their pocket. You've got to be very careful. These are very subtle, sophisticated career criminals. Do you know what he said to me? He said, I want to tell you, he said, that I, as the most senior warrant officer in the Royal Air Force, I organised the parades for Her Majesty the Queen, and I have been dealing with men as a non-commissioned officer for the last 30 years. Seriously. He told me that. Well, I did my best to help him, but within 1 month he was running bets for the inmates on D-Wing, the lifers. He was smuggling whiskey in. They didn't prosecute him. I mean, it would have been really embarrassing, because he was obviously one of the boys. He was one of the Masons, but they couldn't save him from that. And he was ousted out of the prison service. He lasted a month. That's all. I asked the staff on D-Wing, I said, what happened? And they said, how well do you know him? You know, they thought I was in on it as well. I said, you must be joking. I said, I warned him about that. And I said, well, you warned him, but he didn't pay any attention. So it's very easy. I mean, and don't forget, that was a military man, but he was a military man who thought he knew what he was doing. How do you think 23-year-old women who have absolutely, virtually zero experience of dealing with criminals cope on the landings? And young men, I mean, they might come out with they might have a degree in sociology, criminology, you know, something nice like that. But they haven't been dealing with angry men. They don't know how to actually get hold of a violent prisoner and help him to get back in his cell when he changes his mind at lockup. How do they do it? They don't do it. They bottle it. Anyway, have a look at Alex Belfield's little... It's quite an extensive little thing, and he got a sense of humour, that guy. And that's something you definitely need to get through this world. I mean, the way it's just going bloody mad, isn't it? Also, according to this, it says that a bottle of whiskey in HMP FOSSE is £200. Well, the way it's going, it'll be £200 in bloody Tesco's. So that's my little rant for today. 401 deaths in HM prisons, and HMP FOSSE is run by Serco. It's not run by the prison service, but they can't recruit staff. I mean, they're paying the basic wage. You're going to do that? You're going to go in there? And apparently, from what I understand, there's one prison officer to 60 inmates. All right, it wasn't much different at the Scrubs when I was there. I worked on C2 landing, which was the biggest prison landing in Europe. It had over 200 inmates on one prison landing, and there were 5 staff. And I'll tell you how it ran. When I say get in your cell, you get in your cell. Otherwise, you ain't getting fed. Nobody's getting fed. You won't get anything that you're entitled to, because we'll be rumbling and bumbling as I drag you down to the block. And that solved the problem, because once or twice you had to actually do it. But the Hostess Brigade can't do it. The system is bollocks. Listen, Ministry of Justice, Shabina Mahmood, you need to get the big boys back. You need to get the men that can actually deal with it, and you've got to pay them the proper rate. You can't... This bloody Serco private prisons, it's a load of bollocks. It used to be a career. It was very difficult to get in the prison service when I joined. You had to get written statements from everywhere you'd worked, all the way through. Seriously. So, here's another poem for the occupants of that wonderful county. It's, you know, Shropshire is, especially Ludlow and all that area, Clun and Hewley and Knighton. It's very much like England used to be. You know, when you were proud to be English. I really love Shropshire. Yeah. And this is a poem by A.E. Houseman, another one from his collection, A Shropshire Lad, which is Hewley Steeple. I've actually been to Hewley Steeple. I was inspired to go there. I've been all around these places, mainly because I read A Shropshire Lad. And I highly recommend you get that. You can get it on Amazon easy. It's only going to be a couple of quid. Buy that book. It's wonderful English poetry. Written by the Chair of English Literature from Oxford University, Alfred Edward Houseman. And this is Hewley Steeple. I went to Hewley Steeple, as I say, it's a church, yeah. And honestly, the steeple isn't that big. It really isn't. It's only about, I reckon 100 foot. But anyway, this is, and it does appear in this poem to be depicted as something quite towering. But it really isn't. But honestly, get yourself a week, stay at the Feathers Hotel in Ludlow. It's a beautiful old hotel. Hewley Steeple by A. Houseman. The vane on Hewley Steeple veers bright, a far-known sign, and there lie Hewley people, and there lie friends of mine. Tall in their midst the tower divides the shade and sun, and the clock strikes the hour and tells the time to none. To the south the headstones cluster, the sunny mounds lie thick, the dead are more in muster at Hewley than the quick. North for a soon told number, chill graves the sexton delves, and steeple-shadowed slumber the slayers of themselves. To north, to south lie parted, with Hewley Tower above, the kind, the single-hearted, the lads I used to love. And south or north, 'tis only a choice of friends one knows, and I shall ne'er be lonely, asleep with one or those. There you are, Alfred Edward Houseman. And it's that time of day, folks. Yes, you've guessed it. The Song Dinger. So I'm going to sing you a song now. This is another one by Simon and Garfunkel. It's probably one of their most famous ones, actually. It's so you've got to guess it. What am I going to sing now? Yeah. The Sound of Silence. That's what I'm going to sing. And you'll wish it was silence by the time I've finished. What do you think, Goaty? This is Larry the Goatman's goat. Hey's Bob the Bob, are you there? Bob, Bob, Bob. See, the goat gave you a little scream there. This is The Sound of Silence. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone, 'neath the halo of a street lamp, turned my collar to the cold and damp, when my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound of silence. And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking, people hearing without listening, people writing songs that voices never share. No one dared disturb the sound of silence. Fools, said I, you do not know. Silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words that I might teach you. Take my arms that I might reach you. But my words like silent raindrops fell and echoed in the wells of silence, and the people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made, and the sign flashed out its warning in the words that it was forming, and the sign said the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement halls, and whispered in the sounds of silence. There you go, the sounds of silence, and I'm sure that silence would have been better than that. Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. Do please like and subscribe, comments down below.